Okay, this is the Breaking Echo Chambers, whatever, Misty's engine, named after my wife's handle, Misty Ann. Uh, let's just jump right into it. Here we have a topics list, and the idea of this application is to take a topic. We're scraping Google News for articles on that topic. We then run the text of each article through Google's natural language processing API. I guess there's a bunch of stuff about the syntax structure of each sentence, entity analysis, and then sentiment score. We can get into more detail on that. So here we have 2, 4, 6, 8 topics that I've been scraping over the last week or so. If we take Trump visits Texas for the hurricane, Harvey. First thing we see is that I'm clearly not a graphics designer. This is not meant to be pretty. It is what it is. It's just data. That's the only thing we're going for here. As you can see, like CNBC here, like it's kind of got a weird title. The parser's not quite right. But we have a whole bunch of articles, and some of these are related and some of these are not. They all kind of sort of relate to the hurricane and Trump. And it kind of seems like the hurricane in general has a lot to do with Trump anyway. So we have lots of good articles here. Looking at each line from left to right, we have a summary link. When we click this, we can see the breakdown. This is the entity analysis. So these locations are mentioned, and then there's a so Museum of Fine Arts is mentioned once in this document, and then once overall for all of the documents. So it's mentioned once here. That's 100% mention. It probably gets a little confusing. We kind of know what it means, so you can see a better example here. Harvey is mentioned 3 times here, but that's 0.89% of the total number of mentions. This just doesn't really give us a whole lot of information right now. It's just kind of information that we're collecting. Then we have title, and then source, like where we're pulling the information from, a link that goes directly to the article, and then we have the score and magnitude. And the score is based on the sentiment analysis of the entire document. So score is 0.2 here. That means it was mostly positive, and then the magnitude is like there's a high amount of emotional magnitude here. So if we look at the article, we're breaking this down, and each line is analyzed for sentiment and entities and all that stuff. So we can break this down even more. As you can see, my date parser for this one isn't quite right, but we got some author information, and then the line, per line analysis. And then down here we see like Houston is named a bunch of times. Here it's salience, and then number of mentions is 6. So we're sorting by this value called salience, which is like our best guess, or Google's best guess on the importance of this word. All right, so if we go back here, if we look at this part, this whole subject importance map, we see that Trump is mentioned a lot. The salience of the word Trump, and you can see Donald Trump is here too. The salience of this word is high. It's 3.43. And the way Google describes this is you have the salience from -1 to 1, and the closer you get to 1 is the higher the importance, the closer to 1. And we're just kind of adding up all the salience and then just giving a number, and so it's not quite accurate, but this is aggregated over all of these documents. So we know that Trump is mentioned a bunch, and he's clearly an important part of this entire aggregate body of topic information. And we also know that it's highly likely that this person is president. Houston is most likely a city. Donald Trump is most likely a president and a Mr. And I don't want to get into the political arguments of whether or not that's, it is what it is. Hurricane Harvey is nothing. We don't know what that is, and so on and so forth. So we're just kind of best guessing on this stuff. If we look at another topic here, nurse is arrested. This happened recently. Jeff Payne is mentioned a bunch. He's obviously very important to this. He is a detective, and he's most likely a police detective, and those two things are obviously the same. Alex Woobles, however you pronounce that, is obviously a nurse. The next thing we're going to do is try to figure out, like there's a nurse. The nurse is referenced a whole bunch. We want to be able to tell that the nurse is Alex Woobles. And then also tie in police officer to Jeff Payne, and then figure out who the patient is if they're mentioned. Most likely be mentioned in an update later down the road. And so that's what we have right now, and then we're just continuing on this discussion and breakdown of what this stuff is and how it works. It's been a lot of fun for us, and like one thing Kira has brought up is that this could be a tool to help us break our own echo chambers and help other people discover their own. So the next thing we're going to try to do is like the emotional analysis and stuff like that. So thank you for watching.